The geese are just cruising around the little lake. It's so peaceful out here. And I'm just out for a nice recovery cruise. And that's what I want to talk about today. I tell my athletes, confidence is being able to run your recovery as slow as you need to accommodate the recovery. And with that, your training is only as good as your recovery. So we need to treat recovery just as important as we may treat the hard efforts, the long efforts, because it's the recovery that we get during our recovery runs that actually help us to rebuild and come back stronger and faster for the next bigger session or for the next training phase. So I'm just out for a nice jaunt. I usually come out here to do some repeats, but it's just so peaceful out here. They got a little breeze, little wind, but some sun, and I'm just cruising along. Just a nice, easy recovery run. Had a hard week, a lot of intervals, a lot of hills yesterday, and I got a long run tomorrow, so I'm sandwiching in a nice recovery run. I'm gonna get about 4 miles in right now for recovery with my athletes. Early season, the recovery runs tend to be, when we're a little bit higher volume, tend to be a little bit longer than maybe as we're approaching sharpening and racing season, where I'll drop the recovery time of their recovery runs maybe to 30 to 20 minutes, something like that. So depending on the athlete, during high volume time, their recovery run length varies anywhere between 30 to 45, 50, sometimes even an hour long as they're running nice and easy. And that's where the art of recovery comes in, of running really easy. I'm talking about 1 to 2 minutes per mile easier or slower than your normal endurance pace. Okay, and I often refer to the Kenyans to give examples in this case, just because we know how good the Kenyans are, how fast they are, how hard they train, but they take their recovery very, very seriously. And their marathon pace are well under 5-minute pace, but their recovery is sometimes 10 to 12-minute mile pace. That gives you an idea of how easy the recovery is. Okay, they're just out relaxing. So our recovery should be our time to relax, to take in the sun, to stop and look at the geese and the ducks and listen to nature. It's our time to, for me, I always have to work on relaxing my arms. This is my time where I really focus on relaxing my arms, and all the time I'm always having this, it's going to sound weird, but I have this relationship with the ground. Okay, our ground is our friend. Okay, the ground is where we provide force. It's how we use our feet. How we use our feet dictate how we use our body and our muscles. How we use the ground dictates our longevity in running and how good we can feel for a very long time and run for a very long time throughout our life. So this is my ground contact time, of having that relationship with the ground, to have the awareness of how I'm using my feet when I strike the ground, and being patient with my foot strike, and understanding what it feels like to use my feet, not my shoes, to run. Okay, so this is kind of that mindful time of where I call the awareness of really forcing yourself to be in the flow, to create awareness of relaxing the body. A fast runner is a relaxed runner, and we can practice this during our recovery. Not only are we recovering from all the hard stuff so we come back stronger and faster, but it's, again, we can start training our body to learn to relax. Again, a fast runner is a relaxed runner, and being able to relax during recovery is very important. And so too is this a time to really work on your cadence. The slower we run, the harder it is to have appropriate cadence. Okay, it shows inefficiency. So if you have a hard time keeping a high cadence while running very slow during the recovery, now's the time to work on that efficiency while you're still getting recovery. Hey, we're still training during our recovery. Okay, this is not a time just to go out and just be clueless as to what your body's doing. Okay, it's just the opposite. Okay, really embrace the ground and understand using your feet and working on your cadence, creating that efficiency. Again, if you're having a hard time running easy and having a high cadence, that's a sign of inefficiency. And that's something you can work on during your recovery. Oh, nice. So I'm winding things down, got my recovery run in. Like I said, I hit the hills hard yesterday, so my recovery is from that and for High School Butte. It's a little truck going by, but that's High School Butte, one of the more popular short climbs here in town. And you can kind of see the zigzag of the switchback. It basically just switchbacks all the way up to the top. Running, it takes about 5 minutes, just under. So we'll start hitting that. It's not going to be as muddy now because of the sun exposure. So that's my recoveries for yesterday and for tomorrow. But I want to talk and finish with how you can tell that some diagnostic ways to know if you need recovery or not. If you're used to using a heart rate monitor, if you're out for a run and you notice that your heart rate is much lower than it normally is at a certain effort, or even that effort feels a lot harder at a lower heart rate, you know your legs are tired, and that's a good time for you to start getting some recovery the next day and take it easy that day. Another way is just simply going by perceived exertion. Again, if you're monitoring speed, maybe, is that a normal speed that you're used to running feels a lot harder than it normally does. Again, that's just a sign the legs are tired and they just might need a couple of recovery days. So again, some quick ways to be honest with yourself and know when you need recovery, because again, that recovery is going to rebuild your muscles and allow you to come back stronger. And so you want to be able to perform when it's hard and go real easy when you need that recovery, because the one common mistake, if you're not getting adequate recovery, and again, you've got to be honest with yourself and realize, are you running easy enough on your recovery days? Because what tends to happen is if you're not, your recovery days become too hard, and through time you build up this low level, this chronic level of fatigue that you don't maybe realize, because you're so used to kind of feeling that way that you don't realize you're tired, and therefore your hard workouts suffer and everything kind of starts becoming diminishing returns and can lead to a big plateau. Okay, so that's the quickest way to a big plateau, not getting recovery. Okay, so really be honest with yourself, embrace the art of recovery and the recovery run, and it's going to serve you well, and treat it no differently, no less important than your hard workouts and your long runs. So all right, that's all I had for you today. But finally, my shoe of choice today is the Altra Escalante. And these are kind of my go-to shoe for a run like this. Something nice and easy, or a lot of my long runs when I'm not running very fast during my long runs. I love the flexibility. I love the compound of the midsole. It's just really nice and flexible, and it's just the perfect ride for me for easy running. I found that for harder, faster runs, with my narrow foot, they tend to be a little sloppy in the forefoot. And where I want, for something a little bit faster, I want that agility and want something that I'm not kind of sliding around in. And so that's why it's perfect for long and easy runs. So, all right, I'm out of here.